Welcome to the show. And today we are celebrating because today we have our first male guest on the podcast. And this is 2026. And we are being inclusive because the story that he is about to share with us is really spectacular. And I'm really happy to have you on the show, Jermaine.
Thank
Welcome.
you. I appreciate you having me on the show. And I'm honored to be the first male guest on your podcast.
Thank you.
I also need to take you on tour with me because that was one hell of an introduction.
Well, let's go.
Let's do it. I've been ready.
Let's do it. I love the camera and I love the way that you share your story. And we're not just here to talk about your amazing art and to talk about your story. We're also here to talk about your new baby.
It is like a baby.
It's really beautiful. I love the cover.
Thank you. So I was able to design it myself, which actually was a really tough process for me.
I figured.
It was very tough, almost to the point where
I didn't figure that it was tough for you. I figured that you designed. I'm like, it has to be his art.
It was, and the publishing company knew and know about my professional art career. So the first part of the conversations we had, Claire, you're going to design the cover, right? And I was like, yeah, sure. But I also know myself, and I knew that it was going to be challenging because as a perfectionist, it had to be right. Because
Wait, when's your birthday again?
March 14th, Pi Day.
That's Pi Day?
Yeah, 30.14.
I didn't even know that was a day. Okay. What are you, an Aries?
No, Pisces.
Pisces, okay.
And I actually share my birthday with some incredible human beings.
Who?
Stephen Curry.
Yeah.
Albert Einstein.
Wow.
Quincy Jones.
Wow.
Some of the greats.
Okay. All right. Now I'm getting to know one of my good friends is a Pisces, and she's like the hardest person to read. She's like, I never know when she's joking. She's got the driest humor. I'm like, are you mad? Are you okay? What's going on? So, okay, that's cool to know.
Yeah, Pisces. So when the publishing company reached out, of course, they were, you're going to design your own cover. I said, sure. So once I, gave them the manuscript and they were editing it, I went back and I was going to this, I was in my design space and I could not figure it out. I probably sent them at least 25 different designs. And even then I had another 25 that I had waiting in case they didn't like anything.
Yeah.
I finally surrendered and I was working with the design company and I said, how about you send me some samples and I'll give you what I'm thinking about just so I have an idea. And so they sent me a couple of samples and then from there, I took what they offered me and then I just enhanced it.
Okay.
I'm glad I went with that one though, because the other ones either looked like a high school math book or it just wasn't going to have the same impact as this cover. I'm really pleased with it.
So tell me, how did you, I feel like the title is very self-explanatory and it connects really well with your story. It ties really well. So were there other options that you really gravitated to as well when it came to the title? Or was this kind of like easier to connect with?
It wasn't easy at all. And it was only two. It was this one and the previous one, which if I can remember correctly was like Brushstrokes of Redemption, painting that saved my life or something. And it would have probably worked, but it wouldn't have been as dramatic and hard hitting as Autopsy of My Former Self.
Yeah.
And what I love about it is I've had quite a few people, and tons of people that have purchased the book.
Yeah.
Actually reach out and say, yo, like the title is amazing.
Yeah.
And so I'm really proud of it all.
I think with your journey, and we're gonna get into your journey, when you were not in the ICU, right? Or
yeah,
you were.
I was admitted into the hospital.
Okay.
For
3 weeks.
Life support.
Life support.
For 3 weeks. Yeah.
And you had to relearn how to walk.
That's correct.
A version of you had to die in order to reemerge the person that you are today.
That is correct. And
versions of you, maybe more than one.
More than one version definitely had to perish. And I wanted those versions to perish because when I finally got out of the hospital, I didn't want to be the same person.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to make the same mistakes. And I just certainly didn't want to go back drinking again. It was a really dramatic, lonely, and dark space that I was in during that time, now that I reflect back on it. And so I wanted a new version of myself. And in all actuality, even like physically, like visually, I had to rewire what the world looked like, because I was intoxicated all the time. So the
Yeah.
world looks different.
Yeah.
Things are more blurred, and your equilibrium's a little off. And
Yeah.
you actually find yourself like the way, and unfortunately, I drove quite a bit under the influence. I even had to learn how to redrive because my focus was different.
No way.
Yeah, so looking at the sky, looking at the birds, looking at nature, looking at TV looked very different from the optics side of things once I got out of the hospital. So I had to rewire everything.
Yeah. I mean, I can't compare to that, but I do wear contacts, and I refused to wear contacts for a long time, or glasses, and finally I was like, I can't see, I need to put them on, right? So then I went to because I felt like they just hurt and the glasses were annoying. Finally I put them on and I was like, this is what I've been missing.
Right.
So I bet that when you came out, it must have felt like things were brighter, the smells were different. Did you feel like you were experiencing life again, like in a different way?
I was.
Like,
I was. That's actually one of the best analogies I've ever had anyone articulate before. No, sincerely. I never looked at it like that, where, someone that needs glasses, you take off your glasses and the world looks vastly different than when you put your glasses back on.
mm-hmm.
And so imagine someone without glasses looking and trying to focus and live their daily life. And then they put the glasses back on. It's like, oh, God, the world looks, very familiar. I had to rewire everything.
Yeah.
I even had to rewire the way I walked because I had this inability. I had temporary paralysis. So the daily functions, the going to play basketball, all those things I had to rewire.
Have you been able to recover fully from whatever setbacks you went through during that time? It's been 14 years. Has it been
It's been
14
12,
years?
12 years. Yeah, close. It's been 12 years, and yes, right. I'm able to function. I work out 6 days a week. Probably stronger than I've ever been. Just went to the doctor last year, and everything's good. Because there is a fear at times
Yeah.
that I did so much damage to my body that karma is going to come get me in the future.
Yeah.
And I know it's probably not the right way to think, but sometimes I think that. And as I get older, you wake up or you're like, oh God, what is that?
I know.
Pain, right?
I know.
And so I always reflect on the damage that I've done, but I'm good as golden right now.
That's so awesome. So let's go into the book, or let's just start at the beginning. Where did your relationship with alcohol begin? Was it around you, your family, or how did you find that it became part of your life, and at what age?
That's a great question. So I was introduced to alcohol at a very early age, right? I never met my mother's father, my grandfather, because he died at a young age of cirrhosis of his liver. So I never met him. So that was like the first intro, right?
Wow.
Hey, you never meet your grandfather because of X, Y, and Z. And then unfortunately, my father suffered from it as well. So that was introduced to me early from someone that was as close as possible to me.
Right.
And then I really didn't drink until I got to college. And even then, it was in moderation. I played sports, I played basketball, and it just wasn't a part of my life. But when I
Yeah.
graduated from college and came home, is when I thought I was grown, right? You go get
Yeah.
a job, you work a 9 to 5, you come home, you put on a basketball game, and all you want to do is just have a drink or a beer. And it started off with just a couple, like a 6 pack of beer. And I didn't really like the way it made me feel, right? Kind of full. So I was like, let me just go and get a cocktail, right? I'll take a shot or have a
Yeah.
glass a day
Yeah.
and I'm good, right? But then your body becomes immune to it. And so one drink becomes two drinks, become three drinks, becomes
Mhm.
four, becomes a half a pint to a pint a day.
Mhm.
And I was up to 32 ounces of vodka a day at the height of things.
That's wild.
Trust me, it's incredibly
Yeah.
wild. Like sometimes like I almost make myself sick thinking about it.
I bet.
And I didn't have a chaser. So unfortunately, I was just drinking it straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
Ugh. So then it just becomes a part of your personality, right?
Mhm.
And it becomes normal to you. And your tolerance gets heightened. So you consume more and you consume more, and then you just become functional.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, your partner knows or your family may know because you stop showing up to events or you stop showing up to holidays and things, or then you start lying to cover up things. And maybe the person you're with finds those empty bottles underneath the mattress or in between the mattress or in the closet, trunk of the car, underneath the seat, right? Those kind of start to develop and you look up and you're just full blown addict.
Yeah.
And it's not something I woke up in the morning and said, hey, you know, I look in the mirror and say, I want to be an addict.
No.
It's just progressive, like this compound interest that happens over and over and over. And you look up and you actually need it. Like I physically needed it.
Yeah.
It got to a point where if I didn't, I would have the DTs or the shakes.
Right.
And my body became incredibly dependent upon it. And if I didn't, I couldn't function like a normal human. But once I had a shot, my nervous system would calm down and I could function like everyone else.
Yeah. And I bet that when you realize how deep you are in it, it's just like you're so far in, you don't know how to get out of it.
Not only do you not know how to claw your way out of it, but it becomes who you are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's all you know. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, I didn't know how to get out of it. I mean, yeah, you hear of AA and you hear of these
Right.
things, but you're in denial, right? And as long as you're in denial and you don't think you need help, the longer and deeper you'll get into that addiction.
Yeah. So what happened is eventually your body just stopped responding, and this is when your body shut down and you were on life support.
That's right. So at some point in time, your body keeps score,
Mm-hmm.
right? And as it continues to keep score, you keep doing damage to it.
Mm-hmm.
And your kidneys are affected by it, obviously. Well, your whole digestion system is affected by it. Your heart is affected by it, your liver, and your pancreas, right? You can't live without your pancreas. It's an incredibly vital organ. And your liver, right? That's an incredibly vital organ as well. And so my liver was incredibly inflamed and I was forming cirrhosis. And then my pancreas was just getting ready to explode. And how I knew is because I would wake up with these excruciating stomach aches. I mean, first it was like discolored urine.
Yeah.
And you ignore that, right? Because you're so deep in your addiction. And then it was the stomach aches, right?
Yeah.
And then it was the yellowing of the eyes, like the jaundice of the eyes. And you ignore that because you're so deep into the addiction. But the stomach aches just got more intense and more intense. And then I would have the dry heaves in the morning, first thing in the morning. Then I'd have a drink and then I would settle down and I would go about my day. And I would drink from 6 o'clock in the morning to 11 p.m. at night when I finally fell asleep. My body was exhausted.
I bet.
Right. One morning I woke up and it was the most excruciating stomachache I've had throughout the years. So I went in and my physician was essentially like, hey, you're young. Now I hid the fact that I had been drinking.
Yeah.
I was just so ashamed of my behavior.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, maybe it's indigestion, but let's send you off to do blood work. I was like, cool, right? Whatever. So I get some blood work done. And he calls me 10 minutes later. Granted, as soon as I hit the front door, I grabbed another drink. So he calls me and says, hey, Jermaine, you need to go to the ER immediately. He's like, your liver levels are out of this world and your pancreas is getting ready to explode.
Wow.
And so I was like, oh, this is serious, more serious than I thought. So I shot to the ER and then I'm sitting in the admitting room and the admitting doctor walks in and the first thing he says is, you're going to die.
No.
And essentially, I got chills over me because I was still in denial at that moment.
Yeah.
And then he starts to go through, all these protocols of if you don't stop, we can't put you on a liver donor list. You need to quit. You need to do all these things. They admitted me into the hospital and then I just faded. And my body started to shut down.
Wow.
And I looked up and 3 weeks later, I had come to from being on life support. And it was a real dramatic moment where it's 2 o'clock in the morning and it's quiet. The nurses are at their stations. It's dark. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to get up and use the restroom like a normal human being. So I get up, I peel off the blankets.
This is after you woke up?
This is after I woke up.
So they literally admitted you, and then you just were gone.
Crashed.
Wow.
I crashed.
Like your body was just like, I'm done, bro.
It's exhausted.
Yeah.
Like I can't do this anymore, my man. And it crashed. And I just remember waking up in that room, and I took the covers off, and I went to put my foot on the hospital floor, and I just fell on my face, and I panicked because I walked in.
Yeah.
So to not have the ability to walk, I freaked out, like it was like a nightmare.
What happened? Like, what actually was like the physical things that were happening to your body for you not to be able to walk?
They never told me.
What?
They never told me what it was. They just said my nervous system had not recovered yet.
Really?
Yep, that's what they shared with me. That my nervous system had not recovered yet,
Wow.
and that it was a temporary paralysis scenario, and that
Okay.
eventually I will learn how to walk again. But as a former athlete and someone that walked in, to think that I could be wheelchair bound for however long,
Right.
they put me in a panic, like pure panic. And so the nurse came running in, and she picks, well, two of them come pick me up, place me back in the bed. I fall back asleep. I wake up, and my parents are surrounding the bed. And when I see my parents' face, it crushed me. I never wanted them to see me like that. I never wanted to see their faces like that.
Yeah.
I never wanted them to see me in such a vulnerable state.
Okay, so what was the moment that the pivoting moment in your life where you said, this is it? Like, because there's many people that will go through something like what you went through and they're not able to get through that and maybe they fall back into old behavior. What was it about what you went through, and what point was the point where you realized this is it?
That was a moment.
Seeing your
That
parents?
all of it.
Mm-hmm.
That was my come to Jesus moment for sure. That was a moment where, well, I realized I had a second chance, like a full second chance, right? They had detoxed me, so it was all out of my system, and so I really had this opportunity to change my entire life for the remaining part of my life. And so it was in between my parents and the pain they felt to the pain that I felt and just wanting another chance. Because when I was fully addicted, I wanted to stop. It wasn't like I didn't want to quit.
Yeah.
I would break down in tears some nights, just
Yeah.
pleading and begging God to take me out of this addiction. I
Yeah.
hated it because I knew that it was it had taken over me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine waking up in the morning, from the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed, that you're chasing something.
Mm-hmm.
You're not chasing a purpose. You're
Yeah.
not chasing money. You're not chasing women.
Mm-hmm.
You're chasing alcohol, something that's essentially destroying you. It's poison.
Yeah.
You're chasing that day in and day out for a decade. You get
Yeah.
exhausted.
And there's a lot of pain and shame and just all of these emotions that are attached to it. You know, it's not just this thing that you can't let go, that it's become a part of you. It's just something you can't release and you can't, break free from, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it unless I was, because I had tried to stop before that dramatic scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I had tried to stop. Like, I had a couple of seizures because I had tried to stop cold turkey, and I didn't realize the effects that alcohol denial would do to your body.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with that disconnection and not having it, I had my first grand mal seizure.
Mm-hmm.
I survived that, and I was like, oh, I'll just casually drink,
Right.
right? I'll just go out with friends and do it that way. But it didn't last long.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think it was worse this time around, and the consumption was even higher this time around than it was the previous time prior
Right.
to the seizure.
Yeah.
And so I got sick of that after a couple of years, and I was like, okay, well, I can't stop cold turkey, right? I learned that lesson.
Yeah.
So after doing a little bit of research, I was like, let me kind of wean myself off of it. So I would wean myself off. I tried to wean myself off of it. 48 hours, I had another seizure.
Wow.
Right. And if you know the power of grand mal seizures, like, there are a lot of humans in the world that will die this year of one grand mal seizure. Now,
I actually had an experience
really,
with somebody I know where this person, we were like at this work event thing, and all of a sudden this person just, starts having a seizure, and I'm the one there holding this person down, calling that, 911, talking to them. It was, when everything happened and they took her, I just started crying.
right.
It was so intense.
So what's dramatic about those moments, right, is that you play scenarios in your head as if, if that would happen, this is how I react.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in the scenario, a lot of people freeze,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't react the way that they think they're going to react.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really traumatizing when you realize that you weren't prepared as you thought you were prepared.
Yeah.
And, I wasn't prepared to have that second seizure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have bet money on it.
Yeah.
Right? I thought I had everything under control, but it was an illusion.
Yeah.
I had nothing nothing in control.
What did you feel? I mean, I saw it from the outside, right? Like, I didn't experience it. Like, I saw it happening to somebody else. Like, what did you feel maybe before and after and during? Do you feel anything when it's happening? Can you see? Do you know what's happening?
I was hallucinating right before. So I was seeing, and I describe it really in detail in the book. I was seeing like gremlins and I was seeing snakes and I was seeing things
Yes.
right before it happened. And then it was lights out. And the only thing I remember is being in the MRI machine and my body feeling incredibly stiff and sore, as though I just went through like a full Taiwo workout. Like it was completely sore. And it was sore for like a week and a half because my muscles tensed up so intensely
I bet.
that it takes a toll.
They're
Right?
violent. They're violent.
They're very violent.
Yes.
But for me, it was just lights out.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like I was like looking up at the ceiling or anything like that. It was like here one moment, out of here the next moment.
Right. It wasn't like you were in your body seeing what was happening to the outside and you couldn't move. It was just like you were checked out.
I was lights out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the scary part is to think about it when you wake up and you're like, whoa, like all this time went by.
How long were you out for?
It had to be a good 25 minutes. I mean, not like I was breathing.
Were you alone?
No, actually, my partner at the time was with me, and you call 911, and I just don't remember anything. I just remember being in the hospital.
So from there, they took you to the hospital.
Take you to the hospital, and then they do all the tests, right, to make sure to see what would happen because grand mal seizures aren't like a normal, not for like what they would consider as a normal, healthy individual. They're just not normal. So they put you through the MRI machine to see if it's a tumor or if they see it's something else.
Right.
But it was certainly alcohol induced.
So after this episode that you had, that was when you said it got worse. And then that's when it led you to your final breaking point where your body couldn't take it anymore. Mm-hmm. So now let's move into like waking up.
Yeah.
And then I love the story that you talk about about the guy in the van. Tell us about the guy in the van.
Yeah, that was interesting. This gentleman, so I started going to Bible study, right? It was like my come to Jesus moment, getting out of the hospital, going through therapy, physical therapy. I had a nurse come in a couple of days a week for physical therapy, checking my vitals because my blood pressure was, skyrocketing. I'm very incredibly unhealthy.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to Bible study and I want to get closer to God. And so this gentleman and I ended up connecting and we walk out to his trunk and we're talking and he had these paintings and I like loved art as a child. I was sketching, I was showing it off.
What were the paintings of that this guy had?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Well, there were people. There were portraits of people. I think it was like a Jimi Hendrix and it was something else. So it was definitely
it wasn't like a scenic, there were portraits.
There were portraits.
Okay.
Which for me is like this forthcoming, like this prelude to where I'm at today.
Yeah.
It was weird. So I said, hey, my man, like that's you? And he goes, yeah, and I got paint. And I was like, man, I probably could do that too. And so I just, ended up, that was like the seed that was planted. But at the time though, I was homeless. I was sleeping in my car. I had no money. And so I took a gamble on myself. So I had $40 to my name. I took 20, drove to Michael's. I bought some canvas and paints. Sat in the car. I painted a portrait or a picture at the time. And I ended up going to this festival and I sold it for $75. And then I took that money and I went back and I re-upped on more materials. And it just became this thing.
How long from the time that you met the guy in the van to when you sold your first painting? Like how long was that?
About 30 days.
Wow.
About a month. A month, yeah. And I would go over his house. And because I wasn't working at the time, so I would go to his house and he'd be chilling in his art studio and I'd be laying on the floor and we would just be working. And I was just perfecting my craft and I jumped on YouTube and I was just kind of learning what brushes to use, what canvases were the best, what paints to use. Mm-hmm. I was studying color theory. Like I was fully submerged in this thing. Yeah. What I realized afterwards though was it was a form of therapy, like an intense form of therapy for me because alcohol occupied my brain and my mind so long that I needed something else to take my mind off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I would either think about where I was, feel sorry for myself, play victim, or go back.
Yeah.
So I needed a purpose. I needed to grab something. So I fully submerged myself into art and painting. And I'm so glad I did,
Yeah.
because it certainly has changed my life.
Amazing. And when I think about this time and you talk about being homeless and sleeping in your car, who was around you? Did you have family around you that were supporting you? How did you feel like you were supported by the people around you?
I was supported by a couple of people, actually a ton of people at the time.
Mm-hmm.
One individual really stands out as my cousin Tony. My cousin Tony had gone through his addiction in his life, and he's a little bit older than me. Played professional baseball, amazing human being, but we had lost a little bit of touch. But
Mm-hmm.
he came back around at the right time, and he would even drive me because what happened was once I got out, I ended up going to an inpatient program.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, an outpatient program
Yeah.
where I would go 5 days a week, and I would go from like 8 to 5 at night, or 8 in the morning to 5 o'clock at night. And I just started to become a student of it. You know, why me? I didn't want to be a victim. I
Yeah.
wanted to learn more. The
Yeah.
first time I was able to reach out and have a therapist.
Yeah.
So she was able to listen to me and help heal me.
Yeah.
And my cousin would take me every morning and he would pick me up.
That is amazing.
Yes, he's such an amazing human being.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for him. Because, you know, when we have friends and we have family, but you don't know when they're going to show up for you when you really need them.
Yeah.
And he certainly stepped up to the plate in that time.
Yeah. I would assume that he probably saw himself in you, right? Versions of himself that he was able to overcome. He wanted to bring you over to the other side. When I think about when you talk about therapy and you talk about really immersing yourself in the feelings, I think about any addiction that people have. It's usually like numbing yourself to maybe not feel something. Um, what did it feel like to be fully present in the moment and embody and feel all of the uncomfortable feelings that you feel when you're trying to work through everything, and then there's trauma that comes up and you're like, what is this, where's that coming from? I mean, when we're really doing the inner work, we uncover things that we didn't even know were there, right? So what are some of the things that you feel you uncovered when you started to peel back the onion and do the layers and just really open up?
That's a great question. So, first and foremost, it was childhood trauma that I had not, settled or dealt with. That really came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a lot of how it impacted me in the way that I was moving, the way that I was treating like girlfriends and partners, how I was approaching coworkers, friends, family. It was just coming out of me in every way. Um, I was unhappy with who I was, where I was as far as career wise. Um, I realized that I had what do you call that? An avoidance personality
Mm-hmm.
where I would just avoid everything and I wouldn't deal with it head on and I wouldn't have crucial conversations. And for the first time in my life, I had to actually hit those head on. Like I had to really step in and deal with those issues that I had been carrying for so long, that weight. That was probably one of the scariest parts of my life was looking in the mirror and hating who I was. But the positive was that I had an opportunity to change who I was and end up loving myself for it.
Yeah. At what point did you feel like when things started to kind of shift and you started to do the work and you started to feel the feelings, at what point did you start to feel like, I'm proud of where I am, I'm proud of where I'm going, like where you felt like you were on the other side?
I'd probably say once I started selling more art, like once I started to make a living and I was able to put my family from them sleeping at the time, my in-laws house, and me sleeping in my car to actually putting us into like a condo for the first time after
Mm-hmm.
years and really being able to pay bills,
Yeah.
and not be late and have the money to take care of things and be responsible for once. That was probably the most gratifying. And that's when I started to trust myself. And that's when I knew that I was in a great healing space.
I think that moment when people really have that light bulb moment where they realize they have the power within themselves, and really, if they trust who they are and where they're going, it's just life changing. Because I work with a lot of women, and I talk to a lot of women who've been through a lot of trauma, and also there's a lot of generational weight that we carry from our parents and even before then, right? So there's this one person that I talked to, and she's like, "Oh, I don't even think." I'm like, "What are you proud of?" And she's like, "I don't know. Like, I can't say that about myself. I've never heard it, right?" So to learn to really have that self love and to have forgiveness, right? I think there's things that we do. Nobody's perfect. We're all human.
Yeah.
And we don't realize how much we haven't forgiven ourselves until it starts kind of bubbling up and things start, not working. And you're like, what is that? And it roots from self-hatred, not loving yourself and not accepting who you are at your core. Once you let go of that, things really turn around and you're able to love others in a better way.
That's right.
But it really starts from like the self love that you have to cultivate from within.
It does. That's actually beautifully said. I remember a couple of years ago looking at a quick snippet of an Oprah Winfrey show. And there was this gentleman on there, and he was encouraging the crowd to close their eyes and go back to the younger version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really fully submerge yourself and give that child a hug and ask for forgiveness for who you've become. And I was like, that's pretty profound, but I don't know if I can get into all that. And one night I was like, I'm just going to try it. And I closed my eyes and I fully submerged myself into little Jermaine, and I started bawling. Like, I was profusely crying.
Yeah.
And at that moment I forgave myself and I started loving myself. But I needed to practice that. I also feel like that moment I needed to see that clip. Like, that clip was at the perfect timing and I was in the right space to practice it. And in return, I was in the right space to forgive myself. And it's been on ever since.
I agree. You have to be in the right place to receive it, to receive the message. Because how many times have we heard things and then maybe years later, it's almost like you heard it for the first time, and then whoever told you, they're like, "I've been telling you." I swear my dad that does this all the time. I will literally be like, "Dad, use this and this, that'll work." And then he'll have some random person on the street tell him, or on Facebook, and he'll be like, "Oh, I saw this video." I'm like, "I've told you that 5 times." But, you know, our ability to receive really comes, it depends where we are in our life.
That's true.
And I did a similar exercise. And I feel like every time I think about that little girl, I just will start crying till this day because I feel so much for her. Like, whatever we went through. And I also cry for when I think about my mom as a little kid and my dad as little kids, because what we had is more than what they had. Well, my parents they grew up in Mexico, and their families were both farmer families, and they didn't have a lot. They came from a large family. And my mom's mom died when she was 15, and then she all of a sudden became, the mother of 7 kids. And it's a whole story, but when I think about her, I'm like, nobody was there for you. So I literally tell her, I'm like, "You're like my little baby." And I mean, obviously she's not, but when I think that's usually what makes me cry. Thinking about my parents as little kids, of what they lacked and the love that they didn't have, because they did have love, but it was different, right? It wasn't the "I love you." It wasn't the hug. And we are humans and we need touch. We're not meant to be alone. We're meant to have like a warmth next to us, and we're meant to really be in a pact. We're not meant to be alone. So when you think about older people, and they say that they really just need a hug, a lot of them have. Do you know that? A lot. I don't know what the percentage is.
Right.
I should look it up. But there's older people that haven't had physical touch in like years. Maybe they don't even know when the last time they had a hug was.
Why is that?
Because they're older and a lot of them might not have family members, and they might just be on their own.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
I'm fully convinced that the world is not for babies and elderly.
It's not.
Like I just don't. Like it's
like there's no room for them.
Well, not that there's no room for them, because that sounds completely off the rail. It's just that look how elderly are treated.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Look how disrespected they are.
Yes.
You know, and you can see it in someone honking when they're driving in front of you. Like they were your age at one time, and they were able to move like you at one time, and they just can't do that anymore, right? And so I love and respect the elderly. Like I love spending time with them. How could you not enjoy someone that has potentially 75 to 80 years of life to share with you and lessons to learn? The stories are insane, especially if you sit with the right person and is willing to be vulnerable and share. Like those moments are priceless. So I completely respect, seniors and the elderly, because they played a role in society. And they were just like any one of us. And they looked up and life blew by them just like it's blown by us.
It's totally true.
And God willing, we all get to that age.
Yeah.
Right? And we can reflect back. Because I sometimes do it. I was just talking to my boy the other day. And we were talking about looking in the mirror and being like, damn, where did the time go? Right? It's not that we look bad.
Yeah.
We just don't look like we were 20 years ago.
Right.
And that's kind of a sobering moment at times when you think about it. But I love the fact that I've been around the time I have, so that I can share my experiences with others. Because obviously, right, I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
And if I can use what I've been through to help save someone's life or put them on the right path, I certainly will do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Actually, right before I came, I was getting ready, and I swear all of the little girls around my life are always next to me when I'm doing my makeup, and it's always like when I have to go and they're like, what are you doing? But I have like hundreds of pictures of like little girls next to me while I'm doing my makeup. And a family friend she's kind of like my niece, she sees me getting ready and she's like, where's your makeup? And I'm sitting down. I'm like, okay, I have to go, but you can sit next to me. And she just starts looking at me and she's like, how old are you? And I'm like, how old do you think I am? She's like, 19. I was like, oh my God, you're so right. Like the perception, like little kids' perception of age is just wild, and like their innocence, and they should be taken care of as well as the elderly. I agree with you. It breaks my heart when I see them. I feel like we definitely need to do more for them. Which is why I brought up the hug situation. Like, how sad is that?
Yeah, it is.
That there's like all of these, elderly home care places, and they're there alone, and no one's going to go hug them, because, the people that are taking care of them, they're not going to go hug them. Unless they say
they can, right?
I don't know either.
I don't know what those.
I don't know what it works like.
But you would just think that humanity itself would embrace, those individuals.
I would hope that we do better in the future.
I hope so too, as well. But we do what we can.
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of seniors, and I try to just kind of laugh with them and just take what I can from them.
Yeah, they're pretty funny, actually.
I value them.
Yeah.
If I'm driving behind one and I'm in a hurry, it sucks, but...
I know.
But I respect it, I get it.
I know.
Because it's going to be me one day, hopefully. Right?
I agree. Like, with technology...
I still want to be behind the wheel. I got places to be.
Okay, let's get into your art.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get into my favorite piece that you have.
I didn't know you had one.
Okay, do you want to guess? You have a lot. I know.
Is it a recent piece? Like how far back are we going?
I don't know. I guess not that far.
Is it a portrait?
Yes.
Okay.
Aren't they all portraits mostly? For the most part.
The corporate work is typically...
Yeah. Oh, yes.
It's typically abstract.
Okay, it's not corporate.
Yeah, okay, so not corporate. Private collector.
It's a female.
Freedom?
No. Virgin Mary of Lilies.
Oh, that's right.
I love that one.
That's right.
Yes.
So that's actually one of my favorites as well.
It's so good.
And I did that on a whim.
Yeah.
I love music.
Yeah.
Like I'm a music enthusiast. Hip hop, R&B. Of course, I'm light skinned, so I love R&B. What else do I like? I like easy listening, and I love soundtracks, like music score.
I love music scores.
Love music
So
scores.
good.
So I was listening to a really dramatic music score.
Okay, wait, hold. Sorry to interrupt you. The next time you are thinking about like your younger self, put a music score on.
Why do you want me to cry even more?
Exactly. It's gonna be so good. Like the flow and it's good to release.
It is good.
It's so good to release. Like if it's in there to come out, it was supposed to come out.
I read a book, and you're right. I read a book by this author, Jason Wilson. He's doing incredible work in the wellness space, and it's called Battle Cry. And he really gets into, and I'll briefly just share, he really just gets into the idea that men just don't cry.
Yeah.
Right? And they're ashamed to, or there's environments that don't invite it. And for me, because I have this liberating attitude where I don't really care what people think, if I'm in a space that something touches me, like a music score or a movie or reflection or memory, I will cry. And I'll cry in front of anybody. Now, I'm not walking down the street and I don't leak as soon as I think about it, but I'm certainly not ashamed to do it. And this book really describes how tough it is. And my father was incredibly sensitive in a great way, and he was affectionate. And I'm the same way with my son because I want that to be passed down to him, and then ultimately he passes it down to his son as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
What did I cut you off from?
So, the painting.
Yes, the painting.
So I was listening to this music score, and it just hit me. I was like, I have to do this painting. Like, there's no brainer. So I started painting it.
So it was like this intuition thing that came, and you.
It was a feeling. It was definitely an emotion that was created and a feeling from the music. And I don't know what was going to come about during that art session, but that's the piece that came about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got Princess with Woman.
I do.
Okay.
It was so beautiful. No, I was going through it, and I feel like I love the Virgin Mary, and that I had never seen the Virgin, that version of the Virgin Mary.
Right.
And it was just really beautiful, and I love the way that you, like when you zoom in and you see the detail. I was looking for the lilies. You didn't put any lilies in there.
Lilies in there.
I was trying to find them.
Because I wanted to separate it and make it my own. I didn't want it to be identical.
Right.
To what has already
because all of the other versions that people have done, they all have the lilies.
And I wanted to separate myself.
Right.
Which I consistently do, right?
And you did.
Like, for instance, you see a lot of portraits of James Baldwin, or you see a lot of portraits of Malcolm X or MLK. You see a lot of renditions and versions of them. And so when I go into the studio, I just want to do something different. I want it to look different. I want the feeling to look a little different and the emotion that comes from it a little different than what other artists have been doing. And I respect all creatives, right? I just want to be able to separate myself sometimes from the pack.
So what is your preferred medium? Like what is your process like? Do you do like a sketch first? Do you do charcoal? And then what is is it acrylic? What is it?
It depends on the project, but I'll use oils as well as acrylics. Right, acrylics dry faster, so if I'm in a hurry or if I need to get a project done, or if I just like the texture, I'll use acrylic paints.
Right.
And so the process is really staring at a canvas for up to a week, blank.
How long will it take you? Let's say you get a commission. Is it easier to, I guess it must. I'm also a creative. I don't paint. I have painted. I painted my brother. I didn't paint him. I traced him and then did watercolor. I'll show it to you one day. But when you're kind of doing it without pressure, it just I feel like things flow a little bit more. How does it feel when you have a commission, when you have a deadline, and you're feeling like you really have to make it happen?
Yeah, I try to pace myself so I'm not in a rush, because I like to take my time and make sure that the work is I over deliver.
Yeah.
It's my best piece.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting because what I feel like society views an artist and their approach to it sometimes looks vastly different. Yeah. Right. So I'll be in the studio and I'll stare at a blank canvas for up to 3 to 4 days, sometimes a week.
Yeah.
Just staring at the canvas. Music is playing, incense going on, candles lit, but I'm just staring because I want to make it right. Like I want the image to be as clear as possible to me. And sometimes it doesn't work. So I'll be in there for 2 hours, and then I go inside and take a nap, and then I'll wake up and I'll go back out there and I'll sit for another 2 or 3 hours, and then finally it'll hit me, and then I grab a color pencil and I just start sketching it, and then I may go back in and chill and watch the Warriors,
Yeah.
and then I go back out, and then I'll paint. But some days when I'm locked in, it's like Steph when he gets hot. I will be in there for 12 to 14 hours straight.
Mm-hmm.
My arm doesn't hurt. My shoulders aren't sore. My knees aren't. My back isn't. I'll just be locked in. And I will knock out almost a half a painting in a day because I don't drink water, so I don't have to use the restroom.
Yeah.
Like, I just go for
You
it.
should drink water.
No, I do drink water. But in those moments, because it's a distraction.
Yeah.
Right? And it could throw me off.
Yeah.
Throw me off a little bit. So
yeah.
I just choose not to in those moments so I can just stay locked in. And as far as deadlines, I've been under the gun where, for a professional athlete, I was called and said, hey, so-and-so wants a painting by this weekend.
No.
And I'm like, huh? And they're like, yeah, like I need it done by like Saturday. And it's maybe Wednesday. So I'll just spend every day 12 hours in the studio to get it done.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes opportunities knock that may not knock again. So you have to be prepared for or willing to make the sacrifice to get it done. And because it doesn't feel like work, it's an easy sacrifice most times.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm also an interior designer and I totally relate. For whatever reason, I don't know if you paint better at night, but I don't know what it is about the quiet of like knowing everybody's sleeping and you're in the zone. And sometimes when I'm doing a project and I'm just kind of like everything is flowing, sometimes during the day when I'm like, okay, I'm going to wake up early, I'm going to be like in the corporate timeline, I'm going to be at my desk by 8 and I'm going to be done by 5. That doesn't happen with creativity. You can't turn it on and off. Like I will be taking a shower or like actually the best ideas, especially when now that, we all make content when it's connected to all sorts of our businesses, right? I get so many ideas when I'm walking. I will literally, actually, this is funny. My brother was at the gym a few days ago, and I didn't even know that he was standing next to me for like 20 minutes working or sitting, like we were both on the treadmill, and I will get on the treadmill at the gym and I will just like go and I'm just like working, idea is just like flowing out of me. And I even like posted myself, on the treadmill. And then in the family group chat later on, I see him, like he was taking a selfie of himself next to me. And I was just like this. And I'm like, oh my God, first of all, why didn't you say hi to me, weirdo? He's like, I thought you didn't see me. Or no, I thought you were just not talking to me. And I'm like, no, I'm deep. I'm like so locked in. I don't care who's around me. I'm just doing my work and I'm like.
So what are you looking at?
My phone.
I know, but what are you looking at?
What do you mean?
Like when you're on your phone, like what's
so I'm typing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm typing.
I was curious on what makes it so intense.
No, I'm typing. So I type all the ideas that I have. I'll type podcast episodes. I'll type. I am working on like multiple projects at a time. I'm starting a new interior design project. So I'm usually responding to an email or writing notes on creativity or doing whatever else. But like movement, my whole point was movement. And when you're able to relax in the shower, right? It's like how many ideas come when you're in the shower? Like, do you see it in visions? Like I see my creativity comes in visions. Like I will be stuck on something and then all of a sudden, like I will visualize what it looks like. How does that happen for you?
It's gonna sound really corny.
No, what?
Sometimes I dream of it.
Oh my God, I dream of it all the time.
Sometimes I dream of it. And I wake up and jot it down. It doesn't matter what time it is. I jot it down because I'm going to forget it. And I want to be able to reflect and go back to it.
Yeah.
The gym. When I'm at the gym for 90 minutes, I am locked in. I come up with solutions to problems. I come up with brilliant ideas.
Movement.
It's movement. It's one of the times that I only get to myself that I can just be solely into my thoughts, but then working on myself physically as well.
Yeah.
And after that, right, you get text messages, emails, phone calls and things. But in that moment, 5:30 a.m. to 7 is me. And that's what I come up with. And as a matter of fact, I walk around sometimes with a notepad inside of the gym. And at first, people thought I was a weirdo, or they maybe thought I was jotting down
your weights.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you just keep a track, right? But no, it's like when I come up with ideas, I just want to write it quickly.
Yeah.
And it's became a practice of mine.
Yeah, I do that, but on my notes app or Google Docs.
On your phone.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm kind of old school.
I know.
Like the beginning of the way I started the book was journaling. I just something about the texture of a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen just always draws me in and brings out this level of creativity that's incredibly high. And so I just started journaling in composition books.
I agree, because this year I usually like journal my life away all the time. And this new year I did this new program with this person that I follow, and I'm like, let me just do it. And she's doing it in the app. And even though it is easy, not easy, but it's just accessible where I can just kind of do it, I miss my journal.
Yeah.
I miss writing it down. And then I'm like, but where are all these words gonna go once, like, I love reading my journals. They're so great. So
well, and your journals are gonna one day become an archive of your existence.
Right.
It's gonna be a physical testament that you existed. And so I'm a firm believer in leaving those things behind.
Yeah.
One day a family member could be reading it and say, I did not know that about her.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know that I want my family to read my journals.
Why not?
No.
You're out of here. It doesn't matter.
They all say, they all say the same thing. I'm going to start being more interesting, I think. Definitely. Now that we've like healed okay, this is why I'm saying that. Because it's kind of like a broken record. When like the CD player, not that I was young enough to have one, but like, when it would just like, I don't know, did the CD player do that? No, it was like records where they like would repeat itself. Did CD players do that? Where it was just repeating the same part over like a broken record? I guess the record.
It's a record, yeah. It's a record. It's a record.
I'm like, wait, what did CDs would just skip? Or what would they
skip.
do?
Well, the record would just continue to go.
Okay, whatever. Broken record.
Broken record, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we go through when we're not healing those parts of us that are hurting us. So I feel like when I go through some of my journals, it's like a broken record. And I actually tell my friends, I'm like, ugh, like I'm so annoyed at myself. Like I'm tired. When you're so tired of yourself that you finally change, right? So I'm like, yeah, some of those we can just not read. Let's read the ones where we're like, now we're actually getting movement.
Well, I like to call it sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
Right. When you're sick, when you're that tired of going through the same things over and over and missing the lesson and not grabbing it, is when someone eventually is like, look, man. And you see it all the time, right? You see it whether it's someone has a career change, or you see it with someone in their fitness levels and how they just make that. A lot of times we think it's a 360 move or something dramatic, but it's a process that they've been dealing with for years.
180?
Is it 180?
I don't know, because if it's 360, aren't they like back at the same place where this started?
Let's just call them pivot. When these people make a pivot, it's usually something that they've been thinking about for a long time.
Yes.
We just view it as something that's a
sudden. They don't see it's like the glacier. Have you seen the glacier analogy?
Yeah.
Where like people see just like the little peak, but like they don't see how deep it goes.
Oh, that's a whole other world down there.
Exactly.
Right. And so I always look at, you gotta imagine, even my sobriety was a long time coming, right? I was either gonna die trying to get sober, or I was gonna be able to beat it, essentially. But years 5-6 years prior to the dramatic, intense situation I was in, I was trying to quit. Like I wanted to stop.
Right.
But I didn't want it clearly bad enough, and I didn't necessarily know how to reach for help, and I was ashamed of myself. And so eventually, though, it came to a point where I didn't have a tool as a choice, but I was cornered. Yeah.
But I like to talk about this a lot on the podcast, where I say it's not how many times you fall down. It's about getting back up. and it's just like moving towards that goal. It's kind of like this book that I follow. Well, it's not just a book. It's, have you heard of Abraham Hicks?
Yes.
Okay, so I love all of their books.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that he talked about is when you're going to San Diego, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are driving from here to San Diego. You put it on the GPS, and you know you're going to get there.
Right.
An hour after you started going, you're not mad because you're not there yet. You know that that's where you're going.
Right.
So, like, why do we get so mad at ourselves and so impatient with the destination? Like, just keep driving towards your destination. If you keep driving, you will get there.
But it's a thought of how much time you've already wasted. I believe that's where people get the most anxious. And sometimes people want to get to the destination because they know there's so much more hard work ahead of them.
Yes, but if you just, the whole point, right? It's like also they say enjoy the journey,
Mm-hmm.
not the destination, right? So, like, how many times in our life have we missed so many moments that we were living and we didn't experience because we felt that we were wasting time and we weren't at the destination?
All the time.
All the time.
Right? All the time. You could look back right now and reflect on
Yeah.
a lot of times where impatience may have stepped in because you see, you got it though. Like you're there.
Right.
But it took you a minute though, and it took you through
Right.
the frustrations, and it took you through the anxiousness and everything that comes with it, and finally the light bulb went off.
Right.
And finally you were able to focus, and whether that's maturity or that's experience or that's just being sick and tired of being sick and tired,
Right.
you get to that point, and then what's cool is like when you change the main part of who and which you wanted to change.
Yeah.
It's like everything else is easier to change.
Right.
Right? You start saying, oh, well, shoot, if I could do that, then I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. And then it all starts to come into play.
I do agree with you. But until, like, when you are in that moment or whenever somebody's going through a really tough time and they haven't gotten to that place of, like, gotten over that big hump where they're like, okay, now I'm going, and at least I know I'm going towards San Diego in the right direction.
Yeah.
I mean, we really don't never really know what the right direction is when it comes right down to it, which is why embracing the unknown is so beautiful, and just living in the moment, trusting yourself, and knowing that you are living in an aligned way to what your values and what your intuition is telling you, right? Like, I'm a good person, I'm doing good, I'm of service to others, and I'm living my truth, right? That's kind of like your guiding GPS of where you're gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in the struggle of, like, where maybe, like, for example, that you knew you weren't aligned, you knew you weren't living in the best version of yourself, I understand where you can feel like I've already wasted so much time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm losing time. So that is like the catalyst that can switch you to hopefully come over to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And find that place where you can feel comfortable and then finally embrace where you're at and then live in the moment.
Yeah,
I mean, when you're in like a traumatic place, of course you're not going to be living in the moment and enjoying it because you're going through.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wish trauma on anybody.
Yeah.
Right? I don't wish rock bottom on anybody. I want the whole world to get like, what is it, 180, 360?
180?
Whatever. I want people to figure it out
Yeah.
before they get to that point.
Absolutely.
Right? But sometimes getting to that point, though, and being backed in a corner is what people do me. And in my case, I needed to be backed in a corner, and I needed to make some drastic changes.
Yeah.
But the changes that I made, my God, have they changed my life?
Yeah.
Like in every possible aspect of it. A lot of times I'll talk about just the professional portion of it or the successes of it. But, what about the relationship building?
Yeah.
The relationship that I was able to rekindle with my mother, or certain family members that there was just a lack of trust, or even some of my best friends' parents, where I would show up at their house intoxicated and I was,
Wow.
A trouble. Nobody wants to do
Right.
it.
And I'm sure they loved you.
Absolutely.
Their heart hurt for you.
So there's a little bit of heartbreak and annoyance involved,
Yeah.
right? And it was, those moments of rekindling those relationships mean a lot to me because I valued them and I value them today. And even my boys, right? Like they like look out for me. You know, I joke sometimes. I'm like, yeah, today's the day I'm falling off the wagon.
Yeah.
And like, nah, we're gonna have to fight for you to do that.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Because it is people witnessing where you were and now where you are. And that could be like the support from someone, and I'll kind of revisit, you know, fitness, right? Because changing your lifestyle and eating healthy and making those conscious decisions every day is not easy.
No.
And I have this really basic philosophy that says if you can watch what you eat, you can change the world.
Yes.
Right? You can do whatever you want. Because the discipline of meal prepping and the discipline of eating things that don't necessarily feel or taste good in the moment
Yeah.
is such a discipline that every human being carries.
Yeah.
And I think that you're going to have the support of the people that see the change in you. You're going to have the hate, right? Which is amazing. I love hate. But you're also going to have the support where all of a sudden now you don't think that you've worked so hard and someone says, girl, you look amazing, right? Like, look at you, right? All right, dress, right? Like, you have those moments and then it just validates the hard work and the journey, right? Yeah. That you've embraced. Those are the moments that I love looking forward to. Those are the moments I love other people get the chance to look forward to.
Absolutely. I think when it comes to really taking care of yourself, it's kind of like, yes, with like start with it because our mind, our how we show up for ourselves, like that self-love is internal first, but then you also show your body, like our body is a gift.
Sure it is.
The fact that we can walk and that we can, drive and we can see and we can hear and we can like touch other people, we have limbs. Not everybody has that gift. And we complain so much about, oh, I'm so tired and I have to wake up early and I have to do this. It's like, no, like we get to. We get to wake up. There's people that wake up every day and they're paralyzed and they can't see. There's just so much to be grateful for. So whenever anybody is going through a hard time or whenever I'm just having a bad day or whatever it is, I just really like to think about what are we talking about here? Like,
yeah, but and I agree with you because I do live a huge life of gratitude. I mean, daily throughout the day. Like, I'll open up a cupboard in my kitchen and be like, thank you, God. Or I'll open up like a jar of peanut butter and I'll be like, thank you, God. Yeah. Right? Or you start your car and you'll be like, thank you. Right? I stay in a space of gratitude. But there are a lot of folks that when you're in the thick of things, it's hard to see the trees through the forest.
Yeah.
Right? I empathize for a lot those folks that can't see that. Look, when you're struggling, you don't have any money. No. It's hard to think that there's, a light at the end of the tunnel, right? Because you're in survival mode. Yeah. Right? It's hard, and I get it. Like, when I was in that space, it was hard for me to see what my life was like sober. Right? It was hard for me to see myself as someone successful. Like, honestly, if you would have said to me 12 years ago, Jermaine, this is what your life's going to look like in the next 12 years, I would have said, you should stop drinking. Because I couldn't see it for myself. I mean, not even close.
Right.
Like, I sometimes I need to stop and just kind of take in where I am.
Yeah.
Just the sober part.
Yeah.
Right? The most basic notion that I was able to fight such a chaotic battle. That's enough for me to be grateful for eternity.
Yeah.
Right? That I am fully healed physically and I'm continuously working on being fully healed emotionally and mentally.
Does it feel like a lifetime ago?
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does feel like it's been a long time. Then I look back and I'll say, well, 2013 was right around the corner. But it depends on the scenario and it depends on the moment.
Totally.
I think it really hits me when I get to my anniversary, which is in June. Mm-hmm. I will look back and be like, damn, it's been 13 years? Or, man, I'm approaching X amount of years? Right. That's crazy. Now, I celebrate. Yeah. Right? It means a lot to me. But I do reflect and be like, damn, that was a long time ago.
What are some words of encouragement or what would you say to somebody going through it right now, maybe in that same path that you were in, that they couldn't see the light and they couldn't see how they were going to get out of it?
I would say, honestly, look in the mirror and begin to love yourself first. Like, find a way to love yourself and seek help. Like, Don't be ashamed. Uh, they say statistically, 1 in every 5 individuals is addicted to something. So they're certainly not alone in that space.
Right.
And to reach out to family members, try not to be ashamed of what you're going through, because you'd be surprised how many family members and friends love you enough and are willing enough to help pull you out of that space. And also, for me personally, on a spiritual level, right? Seek spirituality, like seek God, right?
Yeah.
Because humans will fail you. But in my experience, what I've been shown and the grace that I've been given to me is seek God. And He will put you on the right path.
Yes.
And stay the course.
Absolutely.
Right? Stay the course. And when things get rough and you get exhausted, stay the course.
Okay. So, what is next? I know that this is volume 1. Is this volume 1, or is there I know we talked about how there's gonna be a follow-up, because you did not include a lot of information in this book. So what could we look forward to in the next book? I wouldn't say volume 2, because I feel like it's absolutely gonna be, the next chapter.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I believe in my head right now, the way I have it, that's a standalone
Yeah.
piece of literature.
Yes.
Right? It's just a memoir and it's going to live alone.
Right.
But I do enjoy writing and I do enjoy reading, and
Mhm.
I've caught a little bit of that bug. So I do have a couple of titles and approaches in mind.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be a space where I talk about post, because I talk about post a little bit, but maybe get in a little more details. I've even considered doing more of the angle of the individuals on the opposite side,
Yeah.
right, who were dealing with me and who
Right.
deal with someone in that space. I've even considered, I tell you what I'm going to do though. I'm going to do more of a workbook with this one next.
Mm-hmm.
So a workbook is going to be
Mm-hmm.
the next part of this piece of literature.
Maybe that is like, that works alongside it or complementary to it.
It's going to.
Yeah.
But there will definitely be a few more books coming from me in the future.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, so
I'll tell you, it's crazy because I've always read like Langston Hughes and Maya Angelou and James Baldwin, like, so those are some of my favorite literaries.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always knew that writing was something special,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't ever think it was for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember only having one book in my house going into 2020, and I read something where it said, put information in the books uh, people don't read anyway,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you want to hide something from people,
Yeah.
put in a book they don't read anyway.
Yeah.
And I was like, that ain't gonna be me. So I ended up buying books, and so I went from one book in the house to now probably 700
Yeah.
plus books in the house.
Yeah.
And so reading, I just kind of caught this bug and this love for it. And then of course the journaling, right? So I went from the journaling and going through the grief of losing my father almost 4 years ago, to having stacks of composition books, to going to see this author, Young Pueblo, in San Francisco,
Mm-hmm.
looking at him share his story and being like, I have a story to share as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the person next to me was like, yeah. And I was like, no, I'm going to write a book. And then a few years later, it turned into the Autopsy of My Former Self. So I started writing, I guess it would be 2.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then it took 10 months to go through the editing process, shopping the manuscript to now to print. And I'm incredibly proud of it.
That's so awesome. You should be.
I'm incredibly proud of it.
Yes. So what is next for Jermaine when you think about your art, or whenever you think about any other business venture? What just overall, what are you excited about?
I'm excited about what I've already done. So I just want to continue to create art that creates an emotion and lives in wellness spaces like hospitals and offices. And then I just love private collectors, right? Continuing to produce for those that work hard and value what I do and love what I do. I'm going to continue to put my work in those homes, because it's really cool for someone to say, hey, can you do a portrait of so and so? Or this has been an inspiration of mine. Can you do a picture of Jimi Hendrix or James Baldwin or, whomever?
Right.
I want to continue to work on those kind of projects as well. Just expand upon what I'm already doing, continue to promote the book, and then work on the next chapter of literature in the future.
Great. Can't wait to see.
Yeah, and then I may wake up and I don't know, do something else. I wake up with these ideas, and if I, have the capital and the resources, I just get it done.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be older and have this long list of things that I regret not accomplishing.
Absolutely.
So while I wake up in the morning and I'm still young and I'm vibrant and I have the energy, I just want to get them done.
Right.
Like I have this sense of urgency in me.
Right.
To just go after everything.
So, the name of the podcast is Main Character Manifesto.
That's right.
So what do you feel like gets you in that main character energy? Like what in your life when you're doing what habits do you incorporate, or what mindset? What would you say, and maybe give somebody advice on how they can embrace that version of themselves? But really first, what gets you in your energy of feeling like you're the main character of your own story? Because you are.
I am, right? That's a great question. There was a moment when it was published.
Yeah.
And it was published at the beginning of November. And it was like 2 days later, I'm just kind of sitting around and it hit me so overwhelmingly. I was like, damn, these people are about to know a lot about me. And it made me kind of nervous.
Yeah.
And then immediately I snapped out of it. And I said, I wrote that to help people.
Yeah.
And that's the main goal. And what puts me in that main character, main character energy, it's really just doing things for myself, going after my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned, I love going to the gym, right? That gets me going, it gets me hyped. Being invited on wonderful podcasts like this and other podcasts and interviews, being a father, to my children, that puts me in that character mode. I'm the assistant varsity coach for a high school. That puts me in that mode. Mm-hmm. And so it's really just giving back, being of service.
Yeah.
As well as doing everything that I love to do.
I love that.
Being a good person.
Yeah. Amazing.
Caring for people. Being everything that I wasn't before.
Yes.
That really gets me there.
Yeah. And really realizing how far you've come and how blessed we are to be here.
Absolutely. I mean, blessed beyond belief.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. This has been amazing.
I really know that your book is really going to help people. I think this is a wonderful book. I can't wait to finish it. I have started it. And here you go. I'm going to link this book in the bio, and go get yourself a copy. And where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at Jermaine Dante _art. They can also find me at JermaineDanteArt.com. You can find the book on all platforms, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Goodreads. The book is not just for someone that is struggling with chemical dependency. It is for the family members and friends that are involved as well. And if you're just looking for inspiration, if someone is just feeling stuck, that just needs something that says, you know what, that guy, he's just a human being like I am. If he was able to pull himself out of what he felt, I can pull myself out of the way I feel. And so it has a little bit for everyone in this, which is super intentional. I agree. I mean, I feel like that was one of the big reasons why when you mentioned, collaborating on this podcast, I thought it was a great idea, because there's just, the essence of this podcast is wellness and really, really falling into the best version of yourself and loving yourself and overcoming whatever you need to overcome. And if there's not adversity in this that you've overcome, I don't know. This is the best example that we could give them. Yeah, pretty much. And once again, congratulations to you. Thank you. I've been following your journey and I fell in love with your podcast and what you represent and how you carry yourself and move in the world. And it's an honor for me to be on here. I appreciate it, especially being the first male. And hopefully, there are a few after me in the future. There will be, I'm sure. We'll see. But it's always cool to be the first, so thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. You should be proud of yourself. Thank you. And I'm sure we will see more of you. Hope so.